We all know that the mainstream media does not like YouTube. They've gone after PewDiePie, and they're always the first on the scene whenever any creator does anything wrong, and conveniently not there to cover when YouTubers do something right. They see YouTube and other sites that let people speak their mind as a threat. How can major media companies continue to exist in an environment where anyone can speak their mind and anyone can be a citizen journalist? With YouTube and other sites like it, creators can put out a video faster than a newspaper can publish, get more viewers in one single video than a news channel gets in a month. Let's face it, mainstream media, all these old newspapers, they're obsolete. But that's not what this video is about. That's just a little backstory on it. You see, despite the falling need for any major media company in America, these companies still hold power, or at least they hold the illusion of power, and that power can scare people. Heck, it can even scare major companies. Like when you were a kid and an old dude came out from his house to yell at you and go, "You kids get off my lawn." Even if you weren't on his lawn, you're still gonna run away. In this situation, YouTube is the kid being told to get off the old man's lawn, as we've now seen them move to remove a partnership from a creator for actions they took off the platform, nothing to do with YouTube, at least partly in response to calls from mainstream media personalities. I think this is the first time that we've seen this happen, and I couldn't find any other time that this has occurred for actions that didn't take place on the platform. So, who was the offending channel and what happened? Let's get into it. Hey guys, MattyO here. Most of you watching are not subscribed, haven't commented, or liked, and as a growing creator, it really helps to see people engaging with my content. It also helps the channel grow and will help me keep making videos in the future. Plus, I respond to almost every comment. So hit subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Thank you so much, and to those who are already subscribed, thank you for coming back. Let's get into the video. The channel that got removed from the partnership program was NELK, a channel with over 5.7 million subscribers that mostly posts like kind of prank videos. Now I know what you're thinking, is it really that big of a deal that NELK got their partnership removed? Prank channels are a dime a dozen. And yeah, they are. I mean, I've ripped on prank channels plenty of times in the past. That being said, having your partnership status removed for something that did not take place on the platform is unprecedented, as far as I can tell. I mean, every creator I've talked to has said the same thing. It's wild and a bit scary that YouTube was willing to take this action, essentially stifling creators' freedom of speech and expression, or more relevant in this case, freedom of association, as far as I can tell, off of the platform. I'm not saying that they don't have a right to do it. They probably do. It's no different than when people being fired from their day jobs for stuff they do outside of work hours. I'm just saying that what they're doing is a really scummy thing, and that it's another vague YouTube policy that will negatively affect the platform in totality. People should have the right to express themselves in whatever way they want, and they shouldn't have to live under fear of expressing themselves, leading to them losing their profession because they chose to do something that was essentially legal to do. I feel this way about all jobs, not just YouTube, but again, I'm not a lawyer, and I don't know the in and outs of the law. That being said, let's get into what the NELK boys did and why I think that even if it was a really stupid thing to do, they really shouldn't have faced any action for it. So our story starts with the tweet from a New York Times reporter, Taylor Lorenz. Her bio describes her as a reporter at NYT Styles. I write about technology, memes, influencers, and online culture. She tweeted out an Instagram video showing the NELK boys throwing what looks like a massive party in a college town with the caption, "YouTubers known as the NELK boys, after hosting an open up gyms protest and partying their way through LA, are now traveling to colleges and encouraging students to ignore COVID restrictions to party. Please watch these videos. This is what they're promoting to their 3.5 million young followers." Not gonna lie, I don't think they should be doing what they're doing. Probably not the best look to be throwing massive parties just as the country is starting to overcome the largest pandemic in over 100 years. In fact, I'd like to go as far as to say that you almost certainly should not be throwing parties right now. But it goes the same way for the big TikTok houses throwing parties. Just don't do it right now. The tweet is clearly trying to call out NELK and the platforms where they reside. When it says this is what they're promoting to their 3.5 million young followers, to me, that seems like the purpose of the tweet was to, in my opinion, get people angry at the platforms that host this channel and get them to deplatform NELK. And of course, when they get people coming at them saying they need to deplatform these people, all this, because they see these tweets from well-established reporters and they get angry and they go and contact YouTube, they contact Instagram, it causes bad PR. And honestly, bad PR is how you get something done at YouTube. It worked. People were very upset about the COVID thing, and there are so many Karens out there who will go out of their way to snitch on you for any little thing you do. So this situation started getting a lot of bad press. Now I know it's this reporter's job to report on these things, but I really do want to criticize at the way she went about it. She's appealing to emotion to try and get people up in arms, which honestly isn't how I think journalism is supposed to be done. I personally think that if the intent wasn't to try to deplatform NELK for their actions, the tweet would have been better written. YouTubers known as the NELK boys, after hosting an open up gyms protest and partying their way through LA, are now traveling to colleges encouraging students to ignore COVID restrictions to party. Just leave out the last part and it would be way better, because you're not appealing to emotions, you're not trying to get them deplatformed. When you add in that last part about this is what they're promoting to their 3.5 million young followers, to me what that says is that you are trying to get them deplatformed, and that's not journalism, that's activism. All this bad press is bad for the YouTube ecosystem. Though I'd argue that no matter how angry people on Twitter get, it will never actually affect YouTube's bottom line, since they're basically a monopoly on online video, in my opinion. I can understand YouTube wanting to take action on this. I really can. Really though, I think they shouldn't have. I think it should have been left up to actual authorities. If the NELK boys are doing something off-platform that's wrong, if it's illegal, we have police in this country and a justice system to sort it out. If it's not illegal, then is it really a problem? But YouTube decided to take action anyway, tweeting out, "If a creator's off-platform behavior harms our ecosystem, we take action to protect the community. We suspended the NELK channel from the partner program because they encouraged large numbers of people to disregard social distancing guidelines, creating a large public health risk." Now, it's common sense that what they were doing is wrong, but as far as I'm aware, they haven't yet been charged with any crimes for the incident, and I'm not sure when YouTube became the arbiter of what constitutes a public health risk. Like, I can understand, the general understanding is, yes, this is a public health risk, but as like a legal decision, I don't know if YouTube has the ability to make that. Did they hire an epidemiologist? Or is this just the opinion of some random YouTube employee, probably an intern? If the actions took place off-platform, why is it within YouTube's right to respond? Why is it within any employer's right to do anything to you for actions you took after work hours? Would it be right for your company to fire you because you attended a Black Lives Matter rally? Or because you advocate for gun rights? No. Can they? Probably. I'm not a lawyer, but that doesn't mean that it's right to do. What this situation does is make creators scared. What constitutes harms our ecosystem? How much harm does a creator have to do? What if the harm was undertaken accidentally or because of a misrepresentation of their actions? To me, it sounds like a rule that is in place solely so that YouTube can bend to cancel culture, with no real information available on the extent to which this rule applies. If a large creator goes on a live stream and talks about the many flaws with YouTube, the many issues that they've had in their career with YouTube, that could definitely harm the ecosystem. Would they be removed from the partner program? If a YouTuber gets approached by a fan on the side of the road and rebukes their request for a picture, that's not going to make that fan very happy, and it could harm the ecosystem. Is that harming enough for them to get removed? There's no clear outline for this. Like all of YouTube rules. You see what I mean? It's just an arbitrary rule with no example and no frame of reference given to the creators at large. It's something that I've criticized YouTube for before, because their rules are not clearly defined. If you make someone at the YouTube enforcement team angry with you, using the vague terms given in their rules, I am absolutely certain they could find a reason to take action against literally anybody on the entire platform. So just because NELK was doing something you don't agree with, doesn't mean you should support their censorship. If anything, you should support the NELK boys, because they can use these rules to come after your favorite channels. They can use them to come after you. Censorship, even against your enemies, should never be applauded. If you disagree with someone, you should let them be heard and then make your case for why they are wrong. Otherwise, sooner or later, you'll find yourself being the one oppressed, and no one will speak up for you either. And this isn't a new problem at YouTube. Almost all of their rules are ambiguous and have very little detail, despite YouTube constantly saying that they want to be open and transparent to help everyone understand their rules. I mean, in their actions, the NELK boys did not actually break any explicit YouTube rules that I can tell, just the really vague one about harming the ecosystem. If doing what they were doing is enough to be considered harming the ecosystem, then why is Jake Paul still in the partner program? Surely throughout all of his actions, he's caused way more negative impact on the ecosystem than NELK has. Not that I actually want any action taken against Jake Paul in this manner, because I think this is a ridiculous rule, but they're just applying it willy-nilly. YouTube touts their rules as fair and unbiased, but then make calls like this one with no precedent, no way for creators to know where the line is, and no recourse. Sure, the NELK boys were doing something really fucking dumb, but people do dumb shit all the time, and with unclear rules, any creator could be in their shoes at any moment. If we don't know where the line is, how can we avoid it? Anyway, those are just my thoughts. What do you guys think about the whole situation? Tell me down in the comments. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and God bless you.